You have a creepy smile. She has a very unnaturally wide grin. It's quite unsettling. There's something vaguely familiar about her face. The shape of her nose, the arc of her eyebrows. But these points are nubulous? Difficult to pin down with that kind of clarity. Her hair is dark, cut into a neat bob. Her eyes are bright green, and a small mischievous smile plays across her face, like a cat that's just caught a mouse. Would that make me the mouse? For some inexplicable reason, I feel a chill go down my spine, and not because of the cold. There is something odd about this girl, but I can't quite put my finger on it. Something uncannily familiar, but disconcertingly alien. But I don't know her. I'm sure I don't know her. If I'd met somebody with bright green eyes like that, flickering like halogen lamps, I think I would remember. Normal people don't have eyes like that. What, they don't have green eyes? My mother has green eyes, but okay. I'm sorry, but I really don't think we've met before. This must be some kind of mistake. And I already said that it isn't. I know you anywhere, Robin Hawkins. So she knows my name. How does she know my name? But she doesn't answer my question. She can't. I forgot to say it out loud. She takes one step forward and peers up at me. Her eyes are large, all-encompassing, like twin gas planets. My head starts to pound. I feel dizzy. I was waiting for you. I was waiting for you for such a long time. I want to tell you something. Something really important. I think I'm in love with you. So saying, the girl stands on the tips of her toes and presses a soft kiss against my cheek. Her movements are so gentle and tender, I could almost kid myself into believing we were estranged lovers, reunited on this bridge for the first time in 15 years. But that can't be. I don't know how old this girl is, but there's a good chance she might not even be 15 yet. As for myself, I've been married to Sally for longer than that. Stranger danger. The thought of Sally is enough to pull me back into my senses, more effective than a slap across the face. I'm sorry, but... I take hold of the girl's shoulders, frighteningly bony, and push her away. She doesn't look surprised by my man-handling, woman-handling, teenage handling. Help me out here. Instead, she stares at me, eyes unblinking. To be honest, it's kind of unnerving. I can't deny that I'm flattered by the attention. What middle-aged man wouldn't be? But at the same time, I'm confused, anxious, and more than a little disturbed. What on earth was all that about? Why? Just, who are you anyway? Don't you remember? I thought that might jog your memory. Not that we've ever kissed before. That would have been weird. I really don't know. One of my old students? Do you usually let your students kiss you? Of course not. Good. I'm so happy. I'm the only one. I can get awfully jealous, you know. But that doesn't help me out. I still don't know why. Alright, fine. I see we're not going to get anywhere without a bit of a push. She smiles, her eyes sparkling like precious jewels. First hydrogen planets, now jewels. This girl's eyes are ever-changing mystery, a source of so many possible smiles that almost taken on mythic properties. Is she not cold? cold dressed like that? I mean, it's raining. Surely must be freezing. It's inevitable. I've never seen a person with eyes like this before. In that case, there's just no way. How can that be possible? But it is. I step backwards. My back collides against the wrought iron railings, and cold seeps through my jacket into my skin. The girl stands in front of me, smiling coyly, as though she hasn't done something shocking. What the fuck? There, growing right out of her scalp, are a pair of ears, a set of twitching black ears lined with white fur that tremble in the cold. Cat ears. Cat's eyes. A cat's tail, too, peeking out beneath the hem of her dress. This must be a dream. This has to be a dream. The sudden kiss should have been enough of a giveaway, but the scene playing out before my eyes has transcended the border of possible but improbable, and right into the congratulations, you've gone insane territory. Maybe I've been outside longer than I thought. I must have been cold. I'm seeing things. What other explanation is there? This can't be real. There's just no way. Do you know who I am now? Slowly, stupidly, I open my mouth and say the very first thing that comes to my head. Belle? The girl's face lights up, wreathed with smiles. That's right. I'm Belle, your great Aunt Clarice's cat. Of course, that makes sense, doesn't it? It's Belle. She's come back to thank me for trying to save her, though she didn't need saving to begin with. That's just how the world works. Those who do good deeds will get rewarded eventually. I think there's something about it in the Bible. Way too many times. I don't know if there's anything about cat girls in there, though. Granted, I've never paid much attention in RE at school, so I can't be sure. I'm not really a priest. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was no cat girls in the Bible, let alone in Noah's Ark. Falling into that river during my formative years must have scarred me more than I thought. And yet, despite my belief that this must be some kind of a near-death induced dream, the girl, or Belle, should I say, doesn't disappear, doesn't even flicker. She remains stubbornly solid, leaning her elbows against the iron railings as she stares out at the starry sky. If it weren't for the ears and tail, she would have looked like an ordinary girl. An ordinary girl who kisses middle-aged men in the middle of the night. Well, I suppose that isn't so unusual. Not really. Lots of girls do things like that. Some even make livings out of it. Okay, fair enough. I mean, where the hell are you to have that many sugar babies, my dude? Come on. But this isn't the same. I know it's not the same. I'm not really a cat, you see. Well, I've noticed that. I can tell that much. Oh, you're a smart ass too, nice. Maybe. You can now? Maybe you can now, sorry. But you were totally taken in before, right? You, your great Aunt Clarice, your parents, and everyone, really. It was a very convincing disguise. The best Halloween costume I've ever seen. Hehe. Thanks. I managed to fool all you humans, but the other cats were less convinced. They must have known on some instinct level that I wasn't one of their own. That's probably why they didn't like me, didn't want to come near me. Are you a skinwalker? Like, there's this film where these cat-like beings basically hunt young women who are virgins. Apparently that's their sustenance. And they hate cats for some reason. I don't know if it has something to do with them being like the guardians of the underworld or something in Egyptian folklore, but it's definitely interesting. I wonder if it has something to do with that. Oh. They certainly knew that she wasn't one of their own, basically. That's true enough. Great Aunt Clarice's other cats, Smokey, Mitten, Snowdrop, Jasper, and Eric. I'm surprised he knows all their names. Never went near Belle. I always thought it was just a cat thing. My body was that of a cat, but I was more than that. I've always been more. You said, "Oh, you humans." Does that mean you're not human? How perceptive of you. Thank you. Top of my class. She grins. And how many humans do you know that can disguise themselves as a black cat for years upon years? Well, at this current moment, just you. Maybe not a black one specifically. You're funny. You're so freaked out right now, but you're trying hard to make jokes. I like it. Christ. I run a hand through my hair. It's damp, and it clumps together in spikes. Water trickles down my forehead. This is ridiculous. How can a cat also be a girl? I don't understand. Well, you see, in biology class, you learn that there are two genders, right? One has an X chromosome, and another one has an XY chromosome. Well, technically XX, I should say. When these chromosomes get together, you basically have a baby that's formed... Okay, I'm not doing this. It's probably easiest to think of me as neither. I'm not cat or a girl. Then what are you? I was just about to say, then what are you? Words begin to flint through my mind. None of them are particularly flattering. Squamous eldritch abomination. Oh. An eldritch. Aren't they like world eaters? I'm actually, how can I phrase this? I suppose I would say spirits, but humans might say other harsher things like demon, devil, maybe monster. Monster. Not too far from abomination then. At least she didn't say elder gods. I was taking on the form of a cat out of necessity for a while. I didn't really want to, but I had no choice. I was too weak to assume the human form at the time, so I had to settle for something smaller. What do you mean you were too weak? I can't explain it right now. It's a long and boring story. You probably wouldn't understand. Probably not. I can't even understand the made-up sci-fi jargon in Doctor Who. So how would I ever be able to wrap my head around something like this? Well, quite simply, it's not hard to understand. He's a travelling doctor who basically flies around in his purple phone box, the TARDIS, which is bigger on the inside than the outside due to, like, magical dimensional mystery bollocks. Yeah, it's interesting. Also, don't ask me why the Daleks look like fucking... look like phone boxes with weird types of weird essential cooking cutlery sticking out of them. They were very weird things. Do you remember when I fell into that lake in Clarice's garden? I wasn't paying attention, really, lost in my own world. When you're a cat and you can't communicate with anyone, daydreaming is all you can do to pass the time. Of course, I remember I almost died. I suppose you have a point. You humans only have one life after all. I take it you spirits or whatever it is you are have more. She taps a finger against her nose, that teasing smile flitting about her face. Now, that would be telling. A woman has to have some secrets. I thought you said you want a girl. I'm not. There's a big difference between a girl and a woman. Alright, fine. I won't pry, but I still can't wrap my head around all this. Good boy. Damn. Damn. It's the crazy ones, you know? I don't know what it is, it's the crazy ones. I don't appreciate that condescending tone. I am 42, and she's probably much older. And yet, despite your age, you are nothing more than a child compared to me. Yeah, I thought as much. She's probably an eldritch. Just how old is this girl? Sorry, woman. If we first met when I was 6, she must have a considerable head start over me. Isn't it rude to just ask a lady her age, though? Kind of like asking a man how much he makes. I was so happy when you tried to help me back then. I mean, I wasn't in any danger, but the fact a human would risk their life in order to aid me really was touching. It wasn't touching, I was stupid. Don't be too hard on yourself. I appreciated it. People aren't very nice to us spirits, even when we masquerade as something else. Though they can never tell the difference. I think they can sense it. That might be true. My parents were never too struck on Belle, neither was I. I wonder why though. What are the general duties of your average run-of-the-mill spirit? Netting out death, ferrying souls, heralding the apocalypse? If that's the case, it's no wonder people are suspicious of her. I vowed ever since that day, when I had regained enough strength to take on a human form, I would find you and thank you. It became my mission, my reason for living, as it were. I'm flattered, but you don't need to go that far. But I did. At the time, I really did. I needed something to care about, something to strive for. I'd been a cat for so long, I was almost beginning to lose my sense of self. I was starting to forget who I was, and that's very dangerous for a spirit. Beings like me can take on other forms whenever we want, depending on how strong we are, but if we remain in one form for too long and forget about our true selves, we'll be stuck. I was this close. She holds her thumb and her forefinger, the distance between them in a minute. Is minute. Minute, sorry, microscopic. Minute. To forgetting, to condemning myself to live the life of a common house cat for the rest of my life. A life that would have ended far, far too fast. Cats can't live for nearly as long as spirits can. No, I can't imagine they would be able to. Just, what am I talking about? I have no idea what I'm saying. I've never met a spirit before, so I have nothing to compare this girl's words to, and no way of verifying her statements. I'm just saying what I think she wants to hear. Trying to make her feel better. Over the course of the last 5 minutes, I've come to realize something. I don't like it when she frowns. I'm glad you tried to save me, Robin. It woke me up from my stupor, shook me by the shoulders, metaphorically of course, because cats don't have shoulders, until all the lethargy accumulated over the years fell away. I'd almost begun to forget it was an act. I'd almost forgotten myself. You made me remember. You made me remember who I really am. You didn't save me from drowning, but you saved me in a different way. You saved my identity. You saved not my physical body, but my sense of self. That's why I want to thank you so much. I'd be nothing more than a dead kitty, a stone-cold cat carcass, if it weren't for you. I wouldn't be able to talk, to cry, to laugh. I wouldn't even be able to have opposable thumbs. Belle holds up her hands, bending each of her fingers in turn like a child showing off an art project to a parent. So thank you. I can't thank you enough. Thank you from the very bottom of my heart. She looks at me earnestly, her green eyes intense. I shiver. It feels like an invisible ghostly hand brushing against every single vertebra of my spine. I look away, flustered by her forthright honesty, and run a hand through my hair. I really am a typical man. bad with feelings, cowed by confessions. Oh, well, you already said thank you, so you didn't need to kiss me. Was that also out of gratitude? Partially. Maybe it's because I realized something crucial. What? Saying thank you wasn't enough, not after you helped me so much. You helped me more than you could ever know. Her eyes flash like faulty street lamps, harsh and intense. I can see streaks of bright green pressed up close against my eyelids, when I blink, burnt inside my skull. You almost gave your life to help me. Now I want to return the favor. I eye her suspiciously. And how are you going to do that? I turn, ready to make my weary way back home when I'm getting a bad feeling about this dream, nightmare, hallucination, whatever you want to call it. It has become too real. I was playing along until now, waiting until I woke up, but it never happened. I don't think I'll ever wake up. A bizarre fantasy has impeded upon my mundane life, sticking to my skin and chilling my bones. It clings to me, one skinny arm threaded through mine, and stares at me with big round eyes, penetrating. Her breasts are small, much like the rest of her body, but they feel soft prints against my arm. I don't know if she noticed, or was that her intention all along. Her bare arms exposed to the biting wind, the falling rain, but she doesn't shiver. Her body is cold, but it feels yielding at the same time. For all the talk about being a spirit, a demon, a monster, she looks like a young girl to me. She's so short, I could rest my chin against the top of her bobbed black head. She must be round about the same height as Millie, give or take a few inches. I want to be with you all the time. I want to help you as you helped me. I give you a shoulder to cry on when things get tough, and a smiling face to congratulate you when things go well. See, now this is the dangers and footfalls of relationships, lads and ladies. Just because a young, pretty little thing that promises you a shoulder to cry on and all of these things that, you know, that could have been in the relationship of your previous relationship or your current relationship, do not fall for those footholds, lads and ladies. You must stay focused. You must stay focused. I wouldn't be alive without your sacrifice, so I belong to you now. I'm all yours. What? Just to claim that? What does she mean, all yours? Humans aren't objects. Any one person can possess, no matter what marriage contracts would have you believe. Though Sally shares my last name on legal documents, she still publishes her translations under her maiden name. We've been married for almost 2 decades, but we do not belong to one another. I couldn't force Sally to obey me even if I tried, which I haven't because I like to think that I respect her. But respect doesn't count for all that much when neither of us particularly likes one another. Damn, it's a relationship that has no love in it. Belle isn't a human anyway. She's not even a cat. I don't know what she is. Maybe there's a different rules in regards to possession when it comes to non-human entities. If there are, I wouldn't know. I've never met a spirit before. You heard me. I want to devote myself to you. My entire being, my each and every eyelash belongs to you, and the dirt beneath my fingernails, and the teeny tiny bones inside my toes. I wouldn't be able to appear before you in this body if you hadn't saved me, so I owe you. I owe you a lot, in more ways than one. Without you, I wouldn't even be alive. The cold wind makes me shiver. I should have worn my coat. Why didn't I wear my coat? I mustn't have been in too much of a hurry. The argument I had with Sally made my blood boil. I needed to escape before I suffocated. The cold air was good for me at first. It cleared my mind. But now I feel uncomfortable. She's standing close, far too close. She smells of the rain. Her hair sticks to her forehead, and her breasts are still pressed against my arm. It's cold, but I'm starting to feel warm, uncomfortably so. Oh? Belle's green eyes flash like the coloured bands trapped inside glass marbles. One more thing, I'm still rather weak. I can't maintain a human form, but I can only use it for a short while. Human bodies are difficult to materialize into being, even for a spirit such as myself. You're so intricate, like grandfather clocks. You never think it, but inside here. She taps her chest, but I don't think she's telling me to stare at her breasts, what little she has. He keeps roasting her on her breasts. Dude, flat is justice. I don't care. Rather, she's imploring me to look beyond that, right past her skin, into the inner workings of her alien, unfamiliar body. There's so much stuff going on all the time, so many organs and muscles and so much blood. My whole body is tethered together with cord and wire run by electrical impulses, neurons firing in the brain. It's very hard to focus on maintaining such a precarious, delicate existence for so long. It's exhausting. If I let my guard down even for a moment, I just disappear into thin air, like a candle being blown out. I've never heard anybody talk about the human body in such an impassioned way. It's strange, since Belle isn't a human herself. Maybe that's why she's so eager. People always get interested in the unknown. Why else do so many people long for the good old days? We always do. Nostalgically hearkening back to pasts we didn't even enjoy at the time. The grass is always greener. That's not true. I never believed that the grass is greener. Like, you think that, and then you go over and you find out that it's a fucking worm-infested hellhole, until you then realize that what you had back before you got on that greener side was just far better. Everything becomes more attractive with distance, even the finer workings of the human body. That is true. Like, if you think about it, what really starts relationships? It's attractiveness. Well, at least for men it does. That is what we are attracted to, is the glint of an eye, or the length of a dress, or like the chic of the figure of a woman's body, basically. It's just something that catches the eye, basically. Maybe it works for women too, who knows? But for me, it's definitely like that glint in someone's eye. Like, when you know you've fallen in love with someone, it's not even a decision, it just happens. It's just something that sparks something in you that causes that flame to never go out, really. It's very strange. Perhaps if I was not human, if I was not a human being, I would also find the respiratory system endlessly fascinating. Wasn't being a cat just as difficult? They have lots of little bones too. Being a cat was difficult, but I grew used to it. A few decades will do that to you. Being a human, however, is rather new. I need some time. You've not assumed a human form before? Even as I ask the question, I feel myself wince. My left eye twitches. I must sound like a fool. This isn't the kind of thing I should say. This discourse has no place in civilized conversation. It's the kind of fanciful dialogue that might exist in a young adult novel or a TV show, but real life? My life? Not a chance. But I still ask all the same, and Belle responds in turn. She doesn't even blink. Of course I have. How else would I know how to speak? It all comes with practice. Like riding a bike. Yep, once you've done it, you don't forget, but it's been a while. Define a while? I can't. Spirits live longer than humans, so my perception of time is a bit off. But if you had to guess, I don't know, the last time I was a human was maybe 40 years ago, but I've been alive longer than that. Longer than you can imagine. Wow. I don't know what to say. Should I turn it into a joke? Maybe not. That might be for the best if I don't want to go insane, presuming I haven't already. I don't know if I feel comfortable about this. I should probably ask my mother for permission before I start chatting to such an old lady. Belle giggles and swats at me playfully like a cat batting at a bird's carcass. I see, she wasn't lying when she said she'd been a cat for so long. I'm surprised she hasn't tried to lick me yet. Well, give it time. Or herself, and give that time as well. Oh, it's funny. I'd love to stay and chat, but I can feel myself getting faint. I might have to take my leave soon. But this won't be the last time you see me. I'll make sure of that. With that cheery exclamation, Belle stands on her tiptoes and plants a small kiss on the tip of my nose. The gesture is unexpected and strangely sweet. I stare at her stupidly. Alright, Robin, I'll see you soon. Much, much sooner than you may think. Hee hee. I'm not sure if I should take that as a threat or not. And what's with that hee hee? She isn't a cute schoolgirl, no matter how hard she's trying. She isn't even a girl at all. She's a spirit. Something vague and unfixed like a breath of air. Do spirits have genders? Did she assume a female form as an act of whimsy? A silly joke, I wonder. But I don't have time to ask. I blink once, twice, and Belle has already vanished, her back melting into the surrounding darkness. I collapse against the railings of the bridge, set of strength. The iron bars are cool against my back, but my face feels hot, and my nose tingles. I can still feel her lips pressed against it, that soft and girlish kiss. I hold one hand against my nose gingerly, as though it belongs to somebody else, a different man. A better man, perhaps, whose wife still loves him, and whose daughter does not hide in her room every time he comes back home. Why am I thinking about Melly now? About Sally? Because you realize that you now have an obstacle in your relationship. Now the question is, are you going to get past this obstacle, or are you going to let it defeat you and take your wife and child from you? Maybe it's guilt. It is most definitely guilt. It's because deep down inside, though I try to tell myself otherwise, I'm happy such a pretty young girl kissed me. Well, aren't we all? But you should take that in your own stride and realize that, you're taken. You're already taken. You have a little girl to think about. You have a wife at home. Yes, she may not love you anymore. Maybe she does. Maybe it's just hard for her to get across to you in this relationship. Who knows? But the one thing that you cannot betray is your daughter's love and trust. She's probably putting herself away because she feels ashamed that she can't spend time with her father anymore like she used to. Who knows? Of course I am. Despite the falling rain, her body really was warm.